I think it's working. I don't know if it's working or not. All right. Okay. Okay, I think we're in. We're in. All right. Here we go. If there's any listeners tuning in, say hello in the chat. Just want to make sure that we are here on YouTube. Let's see. Okay, I see everyone popping up. Jody, Kat, Anika. Awesome, it's working. Okay, here we go. Hey, everything 90s fam. Welcome back to another nostalgic trip down 90s memory lane. For episode 108, we are kicking off the new year with a bang. The episode series you all know and love, 90s versus 2000s. Woo! So, if you are a new listener tuning in for the first time, hello. I'm your host, Shaleena, and I created the Everything 90s podcast for folks who grew up in the 1990s like me. And in each episode, I take you on a nostalgic trip down 90s memory lane, reminiscing on the highs of that decade. And today is a super special episode because the contenders today all have competed in previous seasons of the 90s versus 2000s series. So we're all here together, and they're very close friends of the podcast. So I'm super excited for seeing the battle today. And also, for the first time ever on this series, you, the listeners slash viewers, will be voting for a winner in real time. So, in the chat, I'm going to be placing a link to a poll that you will be using throughout the whole show. And this is where you will cast your vote for the decade of your choice. So, before I forget, I will put that in the chat. And listeners, let me know if it works, if you're having any issues with it. So here's the link. Hello, Melon and Manga. Welcome. All right. I see Lex. Hello, Lex. AB-8Z4RN. I don't know who you are, but hey, welcome. All right. Okay. All right, so let's meet our contenders for today, or reintroduce our contenders for today. So representing Team 90s, we have Steffi and Brandon. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome back. And we also have Simone couldn't make it. Simone is also on Team 90s. So I will be reading her notes for her. She's representing Recess. And for Team 2000s, we have Adrian, Cano, and Nicole. Welcome back.
Hello.
Woo, thanks for having us.
Hey.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so we'll get started with the game rules, and then we'll start round one. So for this all-star episode, hold on one second. There we go. Okay, so for this all-star episode, the layout will be a little bit different from previous seasons of 90s versus 2000s. Each round will have a different topic and different contenders. So round one is going to be cartoons. So for representing 90s will be Disney's Recess, and then for 2000s cartoons, it will be The Weekenders. Round two is Teen Queen. So which decade gave us the best teen queen? Melissa Joan Hart for Team 90s versus Raven-Symone for Team 2000s. And round three is video game consoles. So which decade gave us the best console? PlayStation, represented by Team 90s, versus the Nintendo Wii. And after each contender has stated their arguments, they will go into a free period where they will be able to comment on the opponent's arguments, share any fun facts, etc. and then listeners tuning in here on YouTube, will vote for that round. So listeners that are tuning in right now, just let me know in the comments if the link is working. It should be a Google Forms link, and I could paste it again. No, don't vote yet. Don't vote yet, Anika. You have to hear the debates first, then vote, okay? No cheating. No cheating. I wonder if I could. Okay, so the link is posted in the chat. No, Brandon, don't encourage the cheating. Okay.
Who, me?
Yes. All right. So we will begin with round one, Recess versus the Weekenders. And since Nicole isn't here, or sorry, not Nicole, Simone's not here to represent Recess. I'll be reading her arguments, but I'll let Adrian go first. So, Adrian, go ahead.
All right, absolutely. All right, well, hello everyone. I am very excited to be able to showcase one of the most underrated shows of the 2000s and of Disney's catalog, The Weekenders. So I'm going to be trying to convince you why not only is it a better show, but why it's underrated. So I'll straighten things up here. Recess, it's iconic. But let's not confuse something being iconic with something being the better show. If we're talking depth, if we're talking culture, if we're talking something grounded in realism and also something that has clever comedy, we have The Weekenders. It clears. So first off, let's start off with a quote. I'm a living for the weekend. I'm living for the weekend. Hey, we're talking about Wayne Brady kicking us off with the amazing theme song for the Weekenders. It sets the tone. Weekenders is set in a fictional place in California called Bahia Bay, and it sets the vibes. It sets a vibe for you to immediately understand that the show is smooth, upbeat, and filled with culture. The Weekenders theme, okay, cool, militant, that's nice, but the Weekenders had flavor. Next up, we had a legendary voice cast. We're talking Phil Lamar and Jason Marsden, the Static Shock and his buddy Reggie back together again for the Weekenders. We also had Phil Lamar and Samurai Jack. Jason Marsden, you also know as Max Goof. And Phil Lamar played Carver. Jason Marsden played Tino, the main character. We have Gray DeLacy, who played Lore, who's also Daphne from Scooby-Doo, and Vicky from Fairly Odd Parents, Azula from Avatar, and Katsusi, who played Tish, who was also Phil and Lil in the Rugrats, and Lola Bunny. Those four actors played an amazing job within the Weekenders cast. Also, you can see within their catalog have gone to do amazing things and continue to do amazing things to this day. They brought range, they brought nuance, they felt well-timed humor and also personality with each of their characters. And speaking of characters, the characters brought depth and it brought culture. We are in for Recess. We have a lot of schoolyard archetypes. You know, we had TJ, who is the troublemaker, charismatic troublemaker leader. We have Spinelli, who's the rough and tough person. That's all cool. That's cute. But the Weekenders had fully realized youth. So the Weekenders, all of the youth there were 12 years old, and everyone wasn't just like stereotypes, but they were fully fleshed people. I really connected with Tino. Tino, not only was he the charismatic but sarcastic kid, he was also a only child in a single mother household, and through the series you see him have to work through his mom dating another guy, and also him resparking his relationship with his dad. You have Carver, who's cool, he's a cool guy, but he's also athletic, he's stylish, he's a sneakerhead. You have Lore, Scottish. She is the athletic one. Has a billion brothers. A reoccurring theme is that she has a bunch of brothers. They can never really get the right number. Amazing. But also, you can tell throughout that she deals with her own insecurities while also being out there. And lastly, Tish, while she's not just the smart one, she's sharp, she's confident. She's had to deal with being her having her 15 minutes of fame and dealing with her ego as well. So we have all these amazing characters who have depth, and everyone could find a thread to connect with them throughout the series. Lastly, one of my last pieces, we're going to talk about the drip. All right. We're talking about early 2000 show premiering February the 26th, year 2000, day before my birthday. So it's also something that connects heavy with me. But what other show did you know at that time where the characters were changing their outfits every segment? 15 minutes in one segment of the show, and it goes from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Each day they're changing their drip. What other shows doing that? I don't know. You tell me, because TJ Detweiler's little jacket is getting a little frowsy. Let me just say it. But each time they were changing their clothes, they're changing their vibe each time around. And you can find, if you look it up, they've had at least a good 8-9 outfits that they circulate throughout the entire series. What other show is doing that? So they also made them feel alive and current. And then my main piece here as well, you're not only getting to know the characters in this show, you're getting to know the world. Bahia Bay is a space that you're like, man, if I had the weekend to spend, I would love to be in this space, because you had things that were changed. You had different reoccurring characters that you're connecting with too. And one of my favorite characters, the pizza joint. There have been 58 different themed pizza spaces in the show throughout the entire series, with very witty pizza names. We had Pizza Emergency, the Great Wall of Pizza, Pizza Mind, the Pizza Pioneers, Mission Impeaceable, Pie Kwando, Lord of the Pies, Thera Pizza. This is not lazy writing here. We're talking about intentional and creative building of small components of the show. But you can tell that Bahia Bay grows and works with you. They break the fourth wall throughout the show, which is also a reoccurring thread. And the last thing I wanted to share, and this is something I had to dig up earlier today, but one of the actresses, and that was Gray DeLacy, as well as someone on Reddit, mentioned that there's an interview with Canadian heartthrob and icon Justin Bieber when he was growing up, saying that The Weekenders was one of his favorite shows growing up. I don't see him talking about Recess. So with all this being said, we have depth, we have amazing characters, a growing world and environment that they're living in as well, and also creative and very funny humor that grows with you. If any of you were to watch The Weekenders to this day, I guarantee you'll get a couple laughs in. So to end my argument here, again, the Recess is cool. It's about school. You have the little moments in recess, which is amazing. But the Weekenders have talked about the life outside of school, and it's something that we can still connect with now as adults. Something that we're always looking forward to as well. So with that, thank you for your time, and I hope you do take your time to vote for the criminally underrated Weekenders.
Okay. There you go. I don't know if you guys could hear that. I added some clapping. All right. Well done. Team 2000s. Okay. I just wanted to highlight some funny moments here from the chat. This is from Anika, Adrian representing the YTV t-shirt. For our American listeners, this is our, what would that be equivalent to? Their Nickelodeon? I don't know what the equivalent would be.
I know you guys had Reboot on that, so it was like the smash up of Nickelodeon and like ABC morning cartoons.
Family
Right.
Channel also a little bit dabbled in there as well too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so Team 90s is up. So this is, I'm representing for Simone here. Here we go. What was the one thing kids always looked forward to when they were in elementary school? Recess. That magical break in the day when rules loosened, imaginations exploded, and friendships were tested, formed, and defended on blacktop and jungle gyms. Recess wasn't just a break, it was the highlight of the school day. Somehow, those short 15 minutes could stretch and feel like hours as you played games, made alliances, and lived entire storylines with your friends. And the older you got, the more the playground felt like your own kingdom. That little patch of blacktop was the center of your universe. That feeling, that world is exactly what the cartoon Recess captured. Recess turned the elementary school playground into a fully realized society with its own rules, hierarchies, politics, and legends. The show followed a tight knit group of six friends navigating social dynamics like popularity, fairness, loyalty, authority, and identity, all through a kid's eye view. With iconic characters like TJ Detweiler, Spinelli, Vince, Gretchen, Mikey, and Gus, Recess told stories that mirrored real life childhood experiences, dealing with bullies, cliques, strict adults, and unfair rules. Episodes tackled everything from playground economics, trading items like currency, to social exclusion, to standing up to authority, often with humor, heart, and intelligence, while beyond a typical kids' cartoon. More than just entertainment, Recess validated how big kids' worlds feel when you're living in them. It wasn't about weekends or time away from school. It was about surviving and thriving inside it. And that's why, decades later, Recess still resonates as one of the most relatable and culturally sharp cartoons of this era. Weekenders equals downtime fantasy. Great, but Recess is represents everyday reality, breaking in, the new kid. Weekenders, again, focuses on hanging out, which is great, but Recess highlighted and represented navigating society. So, some examples of episodes: The King of the Playground, The Ratings Game. And Weekenders, although it's fun, Recess was fun plus deep meaning. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you. I am a teacher, so Miss Shaleena gives Miss Croaky vibes. All right. So now it is free period. So here we go. Any rebuttals, Adrian?
You know what? I have a lot of respect for Recess. So I'm not gonna, outside of their frowsy reoccurring outfits, I can't knock it. I think that the thing that I looked up, like Recess, had mad awards as well and nominations. Weekenders had a couple. But I got to give a shout out to Recess as well for what they've been able to accomplish. They got a movie that was made as well. Um, yeah, I think they also, I think the show also stands the test of time too. One thing I'd have to say in comparing the two, I think the Weekenders did a great job in creating dialogue, and it's very dialogue heavy show. But it did a great job in creating very witty banter, reoccurring themes, reoccurring running jokes they do a lot of the time throughout the show as well, which I think were very clever. And also it was great with how do I say this? As someone who was young at the time, I was maybe 12, around the same age as, I don't know, 10, 8, 10. I think I was maybe around 10 when I started watching The Weekenders. And Recess, I watched when I was younger, but stopped at a certain point. The Weekenders, I felt like you can still find a way to connect with it, while Recess kind of takes you back. It has that really great nostalgic feel, what it was like to be running the halls and also be experiencing Recess. I love it. But I think when it comes to the test of time, and again, if folks aren't familiar with the show, I encourage you, just watch a segment, watch 15 minutes. It's available on YouTube. Why not Disney Plus? We need to have anarchy on this because it makes no sense to me why it's not on Disney Plus. Come on, Disney, get your act together. But just watch some of it. I'm telling you, you'll have a great time as well. But those are my main pieces. I actually really love how the points of what was the name of the person who was supposed
Simone.
Simone, you did a beautiful job in creating the scene that Recess creates as well. Yeah, they have a lot of great classics too. King Bob, dope. The Kindergarteners, dope. The Diggers, wicked. So, hey, I think win-win regardless, but my heart will always be with the Weekenders. That's me.
Okay. Fair. Yeah, for me, I don't have any like rebuttals, but I remember thoroughly enjoying both shows. I think I have more memory of the Weekenders, if I'm being honest. And I just want to, I don't think I pinned this comment yet, but the clothes. Like, I thought it was so cool that they changed their outfits. So that really made it stand out. And also, like, the single mom storyline with Tino. Like, you didn't really see that on TV. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, any last thoughts?
Hey, for me, my last thoughts are, so to quote Wayne Brady, everybody's running around the world. No, it's so crazy. People work so hard. There's no time to be lazy. The weekend comes, I'm down with that. Grab your ball, grab your bat, head to the beach, grab some waves. Better hurry up. Just got 2 days. And that's what the Weekenders fully captured, being able to make the most out of those 2 days and how they have that really structured and it's basic, but also very familiar timeline. Problem starts on Friday, escalates on Saturday, they figure it out on Sunday. It's a comfort show. You can sit down, know what to expect, have a couple laughs along the way. It's a great show. It's a solid show and underrated. So let's make the Weekenders get this win. And I'm sure Disney Plus, the Disney Mandem are gonna watch and say, yo, what have we been doing? Get Disney Plus on there right now. You know, so everyone, if you want the Weekenders to be on Disney Plus, you have to vote for me. I end my case. Thank you.
All right. Wonderful. Okay, everyone. So it is now time to vote. I saw that Lex said the link takes them out of the video. So maybe open the link in a different tab so that you're still able to tune in. So if there's anyone joining in right now, oops. Oh no. The link to vote has been sent out. I'll send it out one more time. And you're just voting for round 1. So let me just copy the link again. And please vote only once. I wonder if there's a way to pin the link. Okay, while that's happening, Teen Queen is going to be next. Teen Queens. So that is Nicole and Steffi and Kano will be up. So one moment. Let's see, make sure the votes are coming in. And if anyone has any issues with the link, please let me know. Okay, votes are coming in. Okay, so keep voting. Only have 2 responses so far. Keep voting.
Mine won't let me vote without voting for the other rounds.
Oh. Oh. Wait, what? It won't
Like-
let you vote. Say it again.
Yeah,
It
because
won't
it's
let
a
me-
form, you have to click all of them before you can submit it. You can't just
Okay.
click one, then hit submit.
Okay. So then
There's got to be a way to maybe do a live poll within YouTube or
I
something
tried.
like
I
that.
don't know
Oh,
how to do that.
okay.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll reveal submit at the end of the show, if that makes sense. Does that make sense, everyone? So with the form, submit at the end of the show, and then we'll see who the winner is. Okay. So yeah, so you can vote at the end. Sorry about that. Okay, thanks, Steffi, for that, and Brandon. Okay, so we'll move on to round 2, Teen Queen. Which decade gave us the best Teen Queen? So up is so it's Melissa Joan Hart versus Raven-Symone. So Steffi, you will be up for your argument.
All right. So, Melissa Joan Hart, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You know, we all know and love her. Also, Clarissa Explains It All. Like, these are her big main credits, the ones that we really do know her from. You know, she did some other things like Drive Me Crazy movies and little pieces of that, but the big ones that stand out, Clarissa Explains It All and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So, in the 80s, she started off like most teen stars did, doing a few bit commercials, actually quite a few of them, over 100, while the 80s. It's quite a bit for a little young girl before being in the Hollywood scene. Did a few little Broadway shows as well, so she was very well-rounded, did the whole trick. Then she was around about mid-teens, and she auditioned for 2 different shows, one of them being Blossom, the other being Clarissa Explains It All. What is a 13-year-old girl to do? I don't know. Do I want to go network? Do I want to go kids Nickelodeon station? What do we do? So she turned down Blossom and went for Clarissa Explains It All. And what made it was history. We had quite the successful female-led sitcom, first live action that Nickelodeon ever produced at that point as well. So live action sitcom and first female protagonist. That's pretty good for, like, you know, little teenager in the 90s. So from there, this also set up some future shows in Nickelodeon's repertoire as they go along later, like iCarly, Amanda's Show, Zoe 101. Now, not everything was necessarily a hit. They did try to do a Clarissa spinoff where they kind of did a la One Tree Hill, where she has graduated post-college and doing the real life adult thing. Didn't quite fly. They only really did a pilot. They played it for CBS. CBS said, nah, they didn't like the format. Nickelodeon tried to play it for one just to test out the waters. No, dead in the water. So, you know, we'll pivot. Let's go a different way. So her mother, being quite her momager, I should say at this point, because at the time we didn't know momagers until Kris Jenner, but her momager, she decided that she wanted something for her daughter. So she found this comic book, or someone had presented her with this comic book called Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So her mother, being the, I guess, savvy momager she is, created Heartbreak Films, which is a production company that her and her mom both own. And they bought the rights to the Archie's Sabrina Teenage Witch comics for $1. That's a pretty good deal. Pretty good deal. So then her mom approached Viacom to make the film. So for those of you that don't know, there was actually a TV movie before it became the series. So they did the TV movie, and it was such a success. And while they were doing the filming and releasing this, her mom was already having her filming the sitcom because her mom knew that it was going to be a success. She knew. So while the movie is out and doing its thing on TV, everyone's like, we want more. And she's like, I got more for you. So they did the first, I think it was 12 episodes, gave it to ABC, put it on, you know, the classic TGIF Friday night, you know, everyone's home for the weekend. Hey, shout out to the weekenders. So what are we going to do on the Friday night before our savvy stuff happens? We're going to watch Sabrina on TGIF. It premiered on September 27th, 1996 to 17 million people. You can't find a lot of that nowadays with some of the streamings because but back in the 90s, we were stuck at our TV at a certain time. If you didn't want to watch those shows, there wasn't much other options. So 17 million people, which is almost, I think, one of the largest shows with a female protagonist as well. Premiere numbers, pretty dang good. One good part about Sabrina that we learned, family dynamics can be a bunch of different ways. She did not really get raised by her mother, but she was raised by her two kooky aunts. You don't see that a lot. That is a very different bond and a different, raising. And there are a lot of kids that are raised by other family members. So I think that was very important of them to do. It was the #1 highest rated TGIF show as well. Like, that's pretty good. Now, there was a little bit of a downfall, unfortunately. She had posed in Maxim magazine in 1999. And unfortunately, the Maxim had used Sabrina as the name instead of Melissa, and they didn't like the fact that that was going to tarnish the name, so they tried to sue her. And a whole thing ensued, and then the network didn't like it. She lost some endorsements, so it canceled off of ABC and then found a new home on CW. So total, it ran for 7 seasons or 136 episodes across 2 networks. Another fun thing about Sabrina, or even just Melissa Joan Hart, she was offered the role of Sidney Prescott in Scream, but declined. She was also offered Sarah Michelle Gellar's role in I Know What You Did Last Summer and another role in Urban Legends, but she didn't want to be another horror movie victim, as they say. So I guess a lot of people at that time were doing a movie and then career ended. She didn't want that for herself. She was also one of the originally offered people for the reality series Newlywed when she was getting married to her husband at the time, because they thought, hey, that's some good money for some wedding costs. But her mom shut it down, and because she didn't want that. Reality was new. She didn't want that tarnished reputation. So I feel like without Melissa Joan Hart, we would not have the stepping stones of all of these future generational that we had. She was the first protagonist, which brought us to shows like Hannah Montana, That's So Raven. She had a different family life in Sabrina, and her mom alone was a savvy businesswoman. So I think that is why my main points of why Melissa Joan Hart would be our teen queen.
Good job. Let me get that clapping. Here we go. Here we go. Can you guys hear it? Does it come through? No? Okay. Just on my end. All right. Up next is Team 2000's Cano.
Oh, snap. I just had a vision, and Raven-Symone is going to be crowned the better teen queen. Sorry about that. They come and go. So let's start off by asking, what is a teen queen? It is a term used to describe a popular, influential teenage female celebrity, typically an actress or pop singer who's considered a role model and has a significant following. Said by Google. This is a Google definition. A teen queen is not simply a popular teenage actress. A teen queen is someone whose influence spans time, media, culture, and identity. When you examine career longevity, cultural reach, and multidisciplinary impact, Raven-Symone surpasses Melissa Joan Hart as the more complete and enduring teen queen. In an interview for BT's Black Girl Rocks, when asked how she would describe herself in one word, Raven said multi-dimensional. Take that in. Raven-Symone's reign began long before her teenage years. As Olivia Kendall on The Cosby Show, she became one of the most recognizable child stars of the late 1980s. She was known for her comedic timing, expressive delivery, and scene-stealing presence, traits that carried seamlessly into her teen career. And this matters because Raven did not emerge suddenly as an idol. She grew in front of audiences, building trust, familiarity, and cross-generational appeal that very few teen stars achieved. By the time that That's So Raven premiered, Raven was not being introduced, she was being crowned. The series became one of Disney Channel's highest rated shows, regularly drawing over 3 million viewers per episode at its peak and running for 4 seasons with more than 100 episodes, which is crazy if you think about it for Disney at that time. Importantly, Raven became the first Black woman to headline a Disney Channel series, placing her at the center of youth culture during the network's most influential era. Teens did not just watch Raven, they quoted her. Phrases like, "Oh snap," and "ya nasty" became part of everyday teenage language. Repeated in classrooms, hallways, friends groups, her exaggerated facial expressions, physical comedy, and vocal delivery were instantly recognizable and endlessly imitated. The level of repetition signals more than popularity, it shows cultural penetration. Raven's humor became a shared language for an entire generation of teens. Raven's teen status was further enforced by her music career, which expanded her influence beyond television. She released multiple studio albums, including Raven-Symone, which was like 2008, and This Is My Time, 2004. The later debuted on the Billboard 200 and produced a single, Backflip, which I'm not going to sing for anybody today, for everybody's ears, which charted on the Billboard 100. She also contributed heavily to Cheetah Girls franchise, and I'm gonna say she was that franchise, whose soundtrack albums achieved multi-platinum certification and became the highest-selling Disney soundtracks of the 2000s. This level of commercial success positioned Raven as not just a star, but as a legitimate music artist embedded in teen pop culture. Fashion was another arena of Raven-Symone's. She exerted direct teen influence. Her style in That's So Raven was bold, experimental, and playful at a time when many teen stars were styled pretty conservatively. She was layering oversized accessories, vibrant colors, expressive silhouettes became part of her signature look. This influence translated into retail space with her Disney Channel clothing line, which made her style accessible to everyday teens through mass market stores. And Raven was not just simply wearing clothes, she was shaping how teens understood self-expression through fashion. In contrast, yes, Melissa Joan Hart's teen stardom, while successful, was more contained. Her influence centered around her 2 sitcoms. These roles were iconic, but they didn't extend meaningfully into music, fashion, retail, or cross-platform dominance. Hart embodied relatability and charm, but she did not actively define trends or expand teen culture across industries. Finally, Raven-Symone's cultural legacy continues to resonate long after her original teen audience has grown up. Her facial expressions, comedic moments, confidence still circulate widely in digital culture, proving that a true teen queen does not fade with time, but evolves into a lasting cultural reference point. Her status goes beyond visibility or success. It rests on her ability to shape teen culture across time, platforms, and identity. From her early credibility on The Cosby Show to her dominance on Disney Channel, her Billboard charting music, and her influence on teen fashion, Raven built a multi-dimensional presence few teen stars achieved. She was not just admired, she was quoted, mimicked, and woven into everyday teen expression. That enduring cultural imprint, combined with her longevity across industry impact, firmly establishes Raven as the definitive teen queen over Melissa Joan Hart. Thank you.
All right. All right. So now we'll head into free period. I just see some more comments popping up in here. So I'll place them on the screen. All right. So Steffi and Kano, you can respond to each other's arguments.
I mean, yes, Raven, lasting impression, obviously, but Sabrina did also have quite $1 million merchandising behind just Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It also did probably expanded Archie's comic books as well. So you've got that multi-cross platform. It has also, not the exact one, but it has put spin-offs of The Chilling on Netflix, The Chilling something of Sabrina as well.
Adventures.
It's not the exact Archie comics book one, but it's still Chilling Adventures, that's it, of Sabrina. So she has had spinoffs where so clearly her impact is still seeing the longevity. She was a cultural icon because she had people like Backstreet Boys on pretending that they didn't know how to sing when they drank this special juice that she used to pretend to be a singer as well. Libby was really the great singer, but let's be real, that's okay. You had your classic Mean Girls, your high school tropes in it. Like, it was so good. And she's just, and you know, she did have a producing company with her mom. Her mom saw potential. So, and she still owns it to this day. They were co-producers, co-owners of it. So, you know, that's a pretty savvy, some business moves. But you know, like we all in our 20s, we all start to want something more out of life. I get it, because you're sick of being that child actor, so you do have to kind of transition. She was the first celebrity to win on Family Feud, so that's fun. Celebrity Family Feud, she was the first one to win the $1 million. Or sorry, Celebrity Wheel of Fortune, that's what it was, not Family Feud, Wheel of Fortune. But then around 27 years old, yes, she did step away to do the family stuff and has recently shifted to producing and directing. So she does still have her impact in the world and the media world out there, but just a little more behind the camera now instead.
I will say that, you know, I will say that Sabrina the Teenage Witch definitely did give us some pretty cool spin-offs, but I'll also say with those spin-offs, we got like 8 seasons of Riverdale that we probably shouldn't have gotten, which were just absolutely terrible. Absolutely. You know, I think personally, Melissa Joan Hart is the reason that we got those. And
Okay.
that Chilling Adventures of Sabrina was really good. I will say it was really good. But they just missed everything that you stated about why Sabrina was so good. The Chilling Adventures just missed completely, which was pretty upsetting. I will say though, something that Raven-Symone separates them completely. When you think of Melissa, I think you said that she had been, her ad had called her Sabrina instead of Melissa.
Yes.
Which is crazy, you know. Raven,
not her choice. The magazine did it behind her back. She did not want, not her choice.
And for me, that feels like because they felt like her name wouldn't carry weight. Whereas Raven-Symone was just always great from the jump. From the second they didn't even change her name. They're like, you know what? We're not gonna call you anything. We're just gonna give you the show with your name on it because you're just that fly. And I don't know, the spinoffs that she had, Corey in the House, that alone, that spanned its own like little side of greatness. And then when she had her revival for Raven's House or Raven's Home, like, you know, like just nostalgia popcorn. We all just want Raven. We love her.
Whatever, I do love that she is a very big advocate also for the LGBTQ community now. So I can't say that she's not a very influential person. Absolutely not. But just Melissa Joan Hart, she's just, you know, that Sabrina and, you know, well, Clarissa. Like, you know, Clarissa was like a Nickelodeon's 90s, you know, so I just think she's got that little bit more of just a little heart there. She's like the start of Nickelodeon. Like if it weren't for her, we wouldn't have part of the Nickelodeon we have today.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right. Well, thank you both for that amazing round. I forgot that we have some bonus rounds that I was supposed to sprinkle in throughout. So the bonus round here I have, who had the better debut single? Boys to Men with Motown Philly or B2K Uh-huh? So I'll just leave it open for contenders to chime in, people in the chat. Which one do you think? If you've heard of those songs. Anyone?
Motown Philly.
Motown Philly back again.
It's just been referenced in so many different pop culture things and stuff. Like one for sure that comes to my mind right now is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and they were doing an a cappella. Like it's just such a good one. It's just so good.
Yes. Agreed. It's great. I love Boys to Men. Like they're great. Obviously, they're like one of the iconic classics boy bands. But I was a bigger B2K fan, and I think that's just because of when I was born. So, oh no, Jody has never heard of B2K. Okay, Jody. Uh, after this episode, do some research. They're great. Oh man. Okay, Lex said B2K. Um, who else? Okay, she said Omarion. Yeah, so Jody, if you know Omarion, that was his group before he was solo. All right, so we'll move on to our final round, round 3, which is PlayStation versus Wii. So up next is Brandon representing Team 90s.
Hello, everyone. I come here today with an insurmountable task to convince you that the original Sony PlayStation is better than the Nintendo Wii. And given that we're all people of the same age, we love the Wii, right? We love the Wii. We love Nintendo, most likely. And I'm I'm gonna just have to crush that nostalgic memory that we have of the Wii by bringing you back to the 90s. Um, Sony. Sony developed this little disk drive to help the Super Nintendo, and then Nintendo was like, "Nah, we're good." So Sony is dishonored, defamed by Nintendo. They were partners up to this point, and then pushed out the door and told, "No, you're not allowed to play with us. We're gonna do our own thing." And Sony, instead of falling on the sword and was like, "We just gave up." No, Sony takes this concept for an optical drive video game console and creates the original PlayStation. Um, it's if you may remember, the Sony PlayStation was this little box that played CD-ROMs, one of the first of its kind during the 5th console generation. Its big rival was the Nintendo 64, and that's epicness of the Nintendo 64 and the Sony PlayStation made each other better. There's also the Sega Saturn, but does anyone really remember the Sega Saturn? Um, the big controller. We'll talk about that later. But what's the Wii's rival from its console generation, the 7th generation? Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. Those were its rivals, severely outclassed. It's They had motion controls, sure, but so did the PlayStation 3 and with the PlayStation Move and the Xbox 360 with Microsoft Kinect. What did the Sony PlayStation bring to the table? 2 joysticks, a DualShock controller. This controller that has spanned 5 consoles. It's the same design that they had in their 1997 DualShock controller release. Two dual analog sticks at the bottom, the D-pad and the 4 buttons, which, you know, if you go through the Wii's design controller is from the original the original Nintendo's Entertainment System. Because if you take the Nintendo Entertainment System controller, turn it this way, it's a Wii remote. You got your 2 A/B buttons, you got this, and that's all you have. You don't have that extra freedom. You don't have the joystick. It's not the most elegant thing. Did I just blow your mind? Uh, so yes, we have a great gaming console, but we have in the Sony PlayStation the roots that now have formed the best console, the console winner from this current generation with the PlayStation 5. It broadened gaming appeal beyond just children. It aimed towards teenagers, whereas the Sega Saturn was going towards older, like 18 to 34, which I guess we kind of fall into now. But the Sony PlayStation was the cool console that your older sibling had. It's the one that you wanted to play with them. It launched so many different franchises, including one of its best-selling games was Final Fantasy VII, which took Final Fantasy into the 3D realm, as well as Final Fantasy VIII. There's Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Metal Gear Solid, Gran Turismo, Tomb Raider, Tekken 3, I think, was one of the best-selling titles on PS1. Resident Evil, Rayman, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which did come out a year later on the Nintendo 64, but it launched first on the PlayStation. And I believe both Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2, the top-down ones, were on the Sony PS1, as well as it was one of the first consoles to have a Dance Dance Revolution integration on it. But that's not all. It was the first console to sell over 100 million units. It's the first console with a portable screen that you could take it on the road, flip it up, play it while you're in the back seat of your minivan. It's just one of the most interesting initial consoles of our modern generation, and it didn't need any additional attachments to have a joystick. It didn't need an additional gyroscope later on to make it a better controller. Don't take this motion out of context. And yeah, it's one with that lineup, with the modern console like layout of controller that started in the 90s. Like, it all started here with the PlayStation. And I have to say, one final thought about the Wii before I pass this on. Nintendo on the Switch 2, they've done a lot of things. They've made a lot of their games onto the Switch and the Switch 2 with their old libraries. There's only been one remake of a Wii game on the Nintendo Switch from the Wii era, and that's the worst Zelda, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. So, do you want Skyward Sword or do you want Final Fantasy VII, which also had a remake that is way bigger than the Skyward Sword remake? They're doing it in multiple parts, baby. But that's what I have to say. The PlayStation against the Wii, it might have been an insurmountable task, but I think if you really look at it from the bigger picture, the PlayStation is the stronger console. Thank you.
All right. Team 90s. Okay, well done. Thank you, Brandon. All right, so up next is Nicole with her argument representing Team 2000s.
All right, awesome. So we're going to be talking about Nintendo Wii. First of all, has anyone here ever watched someone play Nintendo Wii before? Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Has anybody watched anyone play PlayStation?
I don't know.
Maybe. The idea here is that people with Wii, they watched, they laughed, they took turns, and a huge difference between PlayStation and Wii is that PlayStation games were often solitary, immersive, like headphones on experiences because it was optimized for this solo immersion when playing video games. Whereas when Wii was introduced, it made gameplay this kind of shared ritual. And you could have the Wii at parties, at holidays, at family gatherings, and it made spectating part of the experience. And so we kind of broke down this gamer identity. And before that, video game culture was a bit gated, and you needed skill in order to progress to new levels of a video game. Maybe you would look up insider knowledge so that you could be better at playing the game. It took a lot of time in order to master these levels and to know all of the ins and outs of the game. And not to mention that this was all very male and masculine coded. And the Wii was like, actually, no, you don't have to be a gamer in order to play games. And so we reframed the video gaming experience as something that was more domestic and casual and social, and you got your body moving as well. That was a component that wasn't, I would say, super prevalent, as much as there was Dance Dance Revolution. I personally like to remember the Spice Girls game, where they were dancing on stage. Shout out Spice Girls. We got some big fans here, including myself. But yeah, it was like you could play with your entire family as opposed to a group of friends, like an insular group of friends, or like an isolated experience, talking to a stranger through a headset. And so what was important too, just about like the different vibe of the Wii, is that on the general scale, it kind of de-emphasized the violence that was prevalent in a lot of video games at the time. And it de-centered the idea that you had to win at the game. You could just play a game for fun. And then moving around, it could just be silly and you're just having fun with your friends. And so culturally, it had a different kind of impact because kids could play, like unskilled kids could play, women could play, older people could play, and just like non-competitive people can play. Not saying that there weren't a lot of people competitive about Mario Kart. That was the one that always gets everybody fired up. There were so many really interesting games because of all of the licensing deals with existing pop culture IP. So you had Sim City. There were TV shows that had Wii games like The Amazing Race, Project Runway, America's Next Top Model, Totally Spies, Grey's Anatomy, Grease. Speaking of Spice Girls, Get Fit with Mel B was one as well. I never played, but just the name of it, I don't care what she's doing, I am doing that. Hannah Montana, iCarly, Bratz, Monster High, Just Dance, the Black Eyed Peas Experience. I don't know what that is, but again, I immediately want to play. Cold Stone Creamery even had its own game where you could scoop ice cream, and that was like the ice cream franchise of the moment. And then with Wii Sports, you could play bowling, you could play tennis. If I go bowling, I just do like two little steps, like click over to the left, because that's what I would always do with my Wii, and that was how I would bowl a strike. It's influenced my in real life behavior. I don't know if I said Hannah Montana. High School Musical. I think that Wii was a really interesting supplement to like the rise of the theater kid archetype in the 2000s as like this kind of cool kid. If you remade The Breakfast Club from the 80s and the 2000s, you would have a theater kid as one of the main characters. And this kind of idea that everything didn't need to be super competitive or professionalized and you could just like break out into song in the cafeteria is the vibe of Wii. Also, what was really interesting was the MII, where it's really like a predecessor to Bitmoji, which was one of the most popular apps of the 2010s, where you could make this little avatar of yourself and people could see themselves in a different way, because these little characters were so cute. Actually, my mom had one, like we made one for everyone in my whole family. And we're like, oh wow, look, like a little mom bot. So we still like call my mom bot because of Nintendo Wii that we played now 20 years ago. But yeah, we represented like, I don't know, it might be the only social time in personal electronics where in the 90s, video games are centered around solo play or group play within some kind of subculture. And then the 2010s represented the mass adoption of social media by individuals on their personal devices. So you just had this like little sweet spot in the 2000s where it's before algorithmic feeds, it's before 24/7 updates, it's before all of our attention was monetized in this loop. And while PlayStation absolutely shaped the culture of gaming, the Wii represented everyday culture at the time. PlayStation deepened the subculture, but Wii did the opposite and made it mainstream. PlayStation, you would go to escape reality, and you would lean into it. So go Nintendo Wii.
All right. Well done, Nicole. Okay, so now it is free period. So Brandon and Nicole, you can respond to each other's arguments.
That was great, Nicole. I completely agree. I liked the leaning into reality part of it. I did forget to mention earlier that what I saw in the comments, the Wii destroyed so many TVs. People wouldn't put on their wrist strap. The Wii controller would go through their TVs. I don't understand how people did it, but yeah, that was a thing that happened. Another compliment for the Wii. They have one of the best-selling games of all time with 82 million copies of Wii Sports sold, because they packaged it in with every single unit that was sold. So I feel like that's cheating personally. But yeah, you mentioned a bunch of like great games for families to play, but with branded IP, like Next Top Model. I got for Christmas one year, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And while a lot of IPs fled to the Wii because of the broader audience that the Wii had, it also brought in the enshittification of games. The Next Top Model was not fun to play. Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? It was poorly designed, mass produced, and designed to just sell product and take your money. And I think as much as the Wii innovated family time together, it also made us realize that we don't want our parents buying us games. And
All right. Nicole, any rebuttals?
Yeah, I'll say that definitely we might have been responsible for more personal injuries than PlayStation, or more broken TVs from remotes flying off of people's arms. And also, Brandon makes a good point about how the 2000s really were the predecessor to everything sucking in quality. And it was kind of like that buffer needed. I mean, I think we're all kind of here for the same reason, is that we're nostalgic for a certain time, and we if I don't know if everyone listening is a millennial, but I am a peak millennial by demographic and statistical definition. But in that case, it's like we grew up, we're the only generation with a completely integrated digital and analog experience. And so the 90s, I think for us and anyone who's lived through them, is going to remember this time where it was before this, the stage of capitalism, essentially, that caused us to slide so far down to where we are now. So in that way, when you think of that innocence, and not that neoliberalism wasn't like rampant in the 90s, but you know what I mean? There was still just this air of purity and innocence, especially because we were kids and didn't yet realize all of like the socio-political factors that define and funnel into culture. So in that way, the 90s over the 2000s are always going to have kind of like this special charm, whether it's video games, TVs, or any aspect of pop culture.
Well said. Well said. Okay, so we have reached the final round. So I will put in the chat one more time the link for anyone that doesn't have the poll. So take some time to vote on which decade you think won each round, and then in like 2 minutes I will pull up the results. And I just want to say thank you so much to all the contenders. You did an amazing job. Super proud of you all. Yay, round of applause for everyone. So yeah, did I? Oh no, didn't post. Okay. All right. Oh, it didn't post. 1 second. Let me try again. And contenders, if you want to vote as well, feel free to vote. Here's the link one more time. And there's also another bonus round in there as well. So the bonus rounds won't count towards the points, but I just threw them in there for fun. So the last bonus round was which was the better Pixar movie, A Bug's Life or Monsters Inc. So if anyone wants to chime in with that, either in the chat or the contenders.
I think A Bug's Life is severely underrated.
Okay.
They had something for it at Animal Kingdom, and now it's an Avatar ride, or studio thing at Disney World. My childhood's gone.
I remember when it came out at the time, I loved it, but I don't remember much. Like I don't remember the character names.
I don't remember it
Flick,
either, but
I want to say.
Yeah.
don't remember
First
much of it
that's-
either. But I do remember that they also released Ants at the same time, around the same time. So it gets like
yes.
confusing because they were like similar movies but different studios.
True.
You know, I was thinking of Ants when I was about to say A Bug's Life wasn't really that colorful, remembering. I was like, no, that was Ants. That was Ants. I feel
Ants
like
got
Monsters
dark.
Inc. was like so colorful and fun, and like the music was really good. The characters, like there was a lot more marketability than A Bug's Life. But to replace it with Avatar, criminal. What?
I mean, the Avatar rides are pretty fun, but to replace the whole thing, you couldn't have just like put it somewhere else. You had a lot of land for the animals. Couldn't you take a tiny bit of that to put it in? You know, keep a Bug's Life. Come on.
All right. Anyone in the chat? Okay, 1 more minute left to vote.
I just want to say everyone's arguments today were great. Took me on a ride, and especially Nicole. I personally think the 2000 should win that round.
Everyone did their research. It was good. Brought their A game.
One thing that was similar, because I've just had a baby, she's about 15 months, so I've been reading into like stupid developmental stuff, yada, 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 stupid things. And one thing that is interesting between the 90s and the 2000s that they're saying, which you both kind of touched on, which was very interesting, is about how old gaming has made they made kids resilient because they had to try and redo. But nowadays they're so open that the kids have no goal to it, so they just kind of keep playing and keep playing and keep playing, and that's how they get like kind of the addiction away. Versus the old days, you got more resilient because you had to learn failure, and now they don't really learn failure the same way. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, you both sort of touched on that a bit, and I think maybe that's the Wii was the one that maybe started it, maybe possibly, who knows.
I did actually. I saw an article about that just yesterday or the day before, and exactly what you said. I don't know if it's the Wii's fault, but it is around that console generation where there was enough room on memory where, like, in a game that they could do autosave instead of like you had the memory card and you had to like go to a save spot and then you can save where you were. But yeah, I thought that was interesting too. I was like, oh, my little niece and nephew are exactly those type of people. Like I'd showed them Mario on my DS once, Super Mario 3, I think, and they kept just trying to tap the screen instead of like use the controllers when they were little.
and you had like lives. So then once you were done all your lives, you either
They
had to
didn't-
start from the beginning or start back from that save point and stuff. So it taught you kind of consequence, cause and effect and stuff like that. And resiliency, because you'd get mad and you'd throw that controller on the floor, but then you'd pick it up and get back and start going again because you got to beat that level.
And instead, they would just get mad and go do something else.
Exactly.
All right. Well, the votes are in, everyone. So I will let's see if I could share my screen on this. Do you want me to show you who won? Do you want me to show you each round, or do you want me to just tell you who won and then show you each round? How should I do this?
Make it dramatic, Shaleena.
Okay. How do I make it dramatic?
One by one, round.
One. Okay. All right. Let's see if
Drum
I can.
roll?
Ooh, yes. Drum roll. Yeah. Okay, wait. Let me see if I could can I share my screen?
Wouldn't that show us all the results at once?
Oh, but I could like scroll.
Gotcha.
Let's see if it'll work. Okay, 1 second. I've been in a different tab, so it won't let me open the link. Sorry, 1 second.
And the time has come to reveal 90s versus 2000s All-Star Edition. Winners, losers, what decade is the best?
Oh, here we go. Okay, can you guys see it? No?
No.
No.
Oh. Do I have to change the layout? No. Share screen. All-Star. You guys see it now?
There it is.
Okay. All right. So, round 1. Team 2000s. Congratulations. Woo!
Oh!
If I zoom it in, can I zoom it in? There we go. Okay. Is it showing like the? Okay,
It's showing the pie chart. And
okay, it's showing the pie chart. Okay,
yeah.
okay. Okay, so Weekenders won 76% of votes. So congratulations. So that's 1 point for Team 2000s. Someone keep track here. This was a bonus round, so this doesn't count. But Boys to Men won for that one. So better debut single. It was really close though. Really close. Yeah. Okay, Teen Queen was Team 2000s.
Oh,
Raven-Symone. Oh, snap indeed.
If I could gaze into the future, you might think life would be a dream.
Life is a dream. Congratulations. 76% of votes. Okay, there's a bonus round. Monsters Inc. won for that, Team 2000s. Okay, moment of truth. Well, I guess moment of truth is already revealed because 2 out of 3. Okay.
Clean
the
sweep.
Wii. Woo! 69%. All right. Congratulations. Team 2000s is the new winner. It's been a long time coming because let me just stop sharing my screen for a second. Where are you guys? For the past couple of seasons, Team 2000s has lost. So this is pleasant surprise, but good job, everyone. Well done. Well done. Woo, 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 woo. Okay. All right. So before we all go, I do have a special announcement that I wanted to share with you all. Starting this this month, I will be ending Everything 90s podcast. So this is the second last episode that we just recorded, and I have one more episode after this. And I just wanted to say that it's super bittersweet, because Everything 90s has, brought so much joy to my life. And for those of you that don't know, my husband here, Adrian, through this podcast, this podcast has definitely been a huge, I don't know, seed that led to our relationship, our marriage. So, um, yes, heart from Nicole. So yeah, and then my best friend Anika, I don't know if she's still in the chat. It's through this podcast that our friendship was created and formed and blossomed. And you guys, just Kano as well. Well, Kano's Adrian's friend here, but I know we met on I think it was an anime episode. Were you on that one? I think so. And yeah, super grateful for Nicole, Brandon, and Steffi. Super grateful for our episodes and just getting to know you all. So it is super bittersweet to be ending. However, I will not be gone for long. I am going to be creating a spin-off spin-off podcast called, does anybody want to take a guess of what the spin-off will be? Okay, I see a hand.
I would like to guess Everything 2000s.
That is correct.
I was gonna say totally 2000s, but
Oh, that's a good. Oh,
right?
Is it too late?
Alliteration?
Is it too late to change?
Maybe not.
Oh. But yes, Everything 2000s is my new podcast that will be launching January 14th. And I will be having a co-host with me. Her name is Kristen. She was on a couple of episodes with me on Everything 90s. She has her own podcast as well. I really love the dynamic between us. So super excited for that. And yeah, we launch the 14th, so that's in I think 2 weeks. And I will be airing the episodes on the same Everything 90s platform. So you don't have to find Everything 2000s. Just stay subscribed to Everything 90s podcast, and the episodes will come out that way. And then we're also going to have a YouTube channel, Everything 2000s. So once that's up, I'll be sure to post it. And we're also going to have an Instagram account as well. So that's my special announcement. And shout out to Lex. She created our logo. Let's see if I could share it. Let's see if the screen will share. Is it showing? Is it showing, guys? I don't know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Super
There
cute.
we go.
Love it.
Love
So
it.
shout out to Lex. I think she's there in the chat. Thank you, Lex, for that beautiful
Love
design.
it.
And yeah, that's it for now. Thank you so much for everyone's support with the Everything 90s podcast, with this series, 90s versus 2000s. I thought it'd be a cool way to segue into my new podcast. And it's so cool that 2000s won for this season. So it was meant to be, I guess. But yeah, with that, I just want to say thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And if you're watching the replay, thank you for tuning in. As always, take care. Thank you for your support, and see you in the next one. Ciao.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Take care.
All right. Okay.